हाँ सर, अब देखिएगा। ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है। अच्छा, अच्छा। तो इसमें कैमरा मैं फुल खोल दूँ फिर मैं कैसे? अच्छा, अच्छा, ठीक, ठीक, ठीक।
Hello, hello, testing. Hello, testing. Hello, testing.
जो यहाँ नहीं आएंगे, आ रहे थोड़ा वॉइस का।
Law partners, YouTube.
हेलो, चलो
Vinodji, can you hear me?
यस आई कैन हियर यू।
आप थोड़ा लाइट बोलें उनको। आप बिल्कुल, आपका लाइट नहीं कम है कमरे में, बहुत कम।
हाँ बहुत कम है, डार्क आ रहा है बिल्कुल।
हाँ तो जरा बोलें, ये जो असिस्टेंट है वहाँ अजय वजय।
हाँ अजय, ये मेरा फेस डार्क आ रहा है, लाइट नहीं आ रही।
So in the meantime, we are fixing up this lighting problem. I request you all to join in. We are live, not only on YouTube, but also on our Facebook page of 4C Supreme Law Partners, on the Twitter account of Ajay Kumar, and also on the Twitter account of Ajay Kumar LinkedIn. So you can join us either from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or directly on YouTube.
नहीं अभी भी नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं।
So let me today introduce the topic. The topic is real estate market and how it is going to respond, how it is going to react in the year 2024. Those who have joined must remember that 2023, as far as the real estate is concerned, it can be called a big rally year. The property price touched new high once again. Be it Noida, be it Gurgaon, be it Bangalore, be it Calcutta, be it Delhi, everywhere has seen the rally in the property market. As per my knowledge and the media reports, we have seen spike as high as 60% in some sectors in Gurgaon. 30 to 40% hike in Noida is something like normal. So the first question here is this rally going to continue in 2024? So this is the question which we are going to address today in this live episode on real estate market and 2024. My guest is now complete in the new light in the new year. So I welcome my guest Vinod Bahalji, and I am very proud and honored to have him here on my show. Once
Namaskar, Ajay ji. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Once I complete this topic introduction, I will introduce my guest. See, as I said, mainly we are going to decode the future trend of the real estate market. We are going to focus on what are the factors which has led to this growth. How was the market before legislation? The hallmark of today market is that it is regulated. So we are going to discuss that part post litigation and the past litigation and the future. So these, as well as in the end, we will take up some topic of your interest. If you shoot us question to us via chat. In the meantime, I will be coming in between to ask some questions, but it will be now completely the show of Vinod Bahal. Now, who is Vinod Bahal? You know, when it comes to real estate market, 1 second, sir. हाँ अनिल जी, अरे मैं लाइव हूँ सर, आपकी आवाज जब what I'm saying is that Mr. Vinod Bahal, one, I'm very honored to have him today on my show. Today, real estate, and as far as Vinod Bahal is concerned, his expertise to real estate is synonymous with real estate of India. He doesn't need an introduction when it comes to real estate. Everyone, every expert, every market, every person who is in the market, who is in the real market knows Vinod Bahal very well. Basically, he's an engineering, civil engineer graduate who decided to take up journalism long back and started his career with the real estate in Times of India. He was part of Gulf News. Then for several decades, he was associated with IANS, Indo-Asian News Services, and International News Services as a columnist for real estate. He still edits a magazine on real estate called Torbit Reality, which has a print as well as a .com edition, a web edition. And he is also an expert and columnist for moneycontrol.com. He is the person who launched the first dedicated real estate magazine, the Reality Plus of India. So you can understand by his qualification as well as his working and his experience that the last buck in the world of real estate starts and stops at the name of Mr. Bahal. So with this, over to you, sir. We have already discussed the topic. However, you are free to carry forward the discussion the way you wish, deviate. The ultimate thing is to give value to our audience and listeners here who are watching you live through all Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Over to you, sir.
I must say that since I have been involved with real estate for the last so many years, I would say rather 4 decades, starting with Times of India, Gulf News, etc., which you have already told. So I would like to, start with some background about how the real estate scenario was in the country, say in 90s, 2000s, and before the RERA legislation came in and the market got regulated. I still remember, Ajayji, in 90s, 2000, the advertisements about housing which used to appear on the websites or in the newspapers, they would mention openly, they would mention 60% in cash and 40% through check payment. So that was the kind of black money which was into circulation in real estate during those times. And the net result of that circulation of black money in real estate was the rampant hike in prices, which was artificial hike, and leaving crores of people without housing, which was the basic need. So then what happened after that? Over the years, when the BJP government came into power in 2014, the first thing they did was, through reforms, to somehow try to curtail this rampant use of black money into real estate. So they came up with demonetization. And secondly, they came up with a legislation and on Benami money transactions. So both these reforms, to a large extent, were successful in curtailing the rampant use of black money into real estate. I would not say that there is no black money in real estate now, but the kind of black money which was into circulation during those times have reduced a lot, and now a lot of developers, they ask for only check payments through check. It is another matter that the real estate transactions which are of high amount, they are still a part of the money is demanded in cash. So now, after this, after having this ground, made this ground for reforms, the next big thing which happened in real estate was the regulation, RERA. What happened was that initially all these developers and their bodies, key bodies like REDI and Redco, they were talking in terms of self-regulation. No, we don't need regulation. We will do self-regulation. We will ourselves regulate the market. But when the government saw that the self-regulation was not leading to anywhere and it was not helping consumers and consumers were suffering like anything, then, they came up with RERA legislation. And we all know that before RERA, when the market was totally unregulated, the kind of mess which was created in, say, particularly in NCR, about stalled houses running into lakhs, that legacy problem prevails even today. And if you talk about the industry statistics, even today, more than 4.5 lakh homes are stalled because of the various reasons. And this problem, and crores of hundreds and crores of rupees are stuck in this maze. So now, because of this background, the RERA was introduced. So RERA was introduced in 2017, and in the last 5 years, it has done a commendable job. There are critics of RERA as well. They would say there's still a lot of problems in RERA. The kind of relief which was expected is not coming up. But I would say that if anything new comes up, any new reform comes up, there are initial hiccups always there. But we should see whether the glass is half full or glass is half empty. So if we talk in terms of the glass is half full, then we'll look at the kind of achievements which are made by RERA. There are statistics in front of me. Today, 1.16 lakh projects are registered under RERA. And as you all know, RERA was introduced to put an end to the grievances of the home buyers, as well as to create a balance between home buyers and developers and other stakeholders, so that these problems don't crop up again, that the developers collect money from the home buyers, and then they use that money elsewhere, which was happening in pre-RERA times. But when the RERA came, so the biggest reform which was done was that they created a separate account for the money collected by the developers from home buyers, so that that money could not be misused, which was used earlier during pre-RERA days by the developers and resulting in the large number of projects getting stuck up. So as I said, 1.16 lakh homes projects were registered by November 23. So which was a 60% increase in projects registration over the past 2 years. So even 1.16 lakh cases were resolved. Out of that, 38% of the resolved cases were in UP alone. Because RERA, even after 5 years, the performance of all the RERA authorities is not uniform. Some authorities are working proactively, so the results shown by them are really good, and some of the authorities are laggards, so the results shown by them are not as good. So again, talking about what RERA has done, the statistics tell us that 30 states and 32 states and UTs have set up their authorities, RERA authorities. 38 states have set up real estate appellate tribunals so far, disposing of complaints. 9 state UTs have yet to do so, including West Bengal, J&K, Ladakh, etc., and northeastern state. 26 states and UTs have appointed educating officers. 10 have yet to do, and 30 states and UTs have operationalized websites. These were the requirements of the RERA law. So the major benefit which has accrued because of the coming of RERA is the major cleanup happening in the residential real estate sector. Now in the last few years, lot of fly-by-night developers who were cheating the helpless home buyers, they are out of the business because of the strict compliances which they are now supposed to meet. So the sector has become more streamlined, sector has become more professionalized. Earlier, I remember the big corporate houses, they would really hesitate to come into this sector because of the rampant malpractices which were happening in this sector. But of late, after the regulation came in, we have found that a lot of these big branded listed developers, be it Tatas, be it Godrej, be it Mahindras, and whole lot of others, and DLF, etc., they have all come, and they have raised the confidence of the buyers with the introduction of the best practices in the real estate sectors. So that these are some of the benefits which have accrued. The market is getting consolidated, and much to the help of the home buyers. But then there I would like to talk about the challenges which still which are there in the RERA domain. RERA, when it was introduced, it was clearly mentioned that all these cases will be finalized and solved, and the grievances redressal will be done in 60 days. But what we have been finding in that in some of these RERA authorities, the even in 60 days, hearings are not happening in some of the. I'm not labeling all the authorities like that, but even the hearings are not happening in 60 days, and the final redressal of the cases is happening stretched to 1 year or even more in some cases. And the biggest problem which many home buyers who have approached RERA, the biggest problem they are facing is that even after getting favorable judgments from RERA, their hopes are dashed because the execution is not happening and they don't know where to go. So basically, then they again approach RERA under Section 63 that they have not got justice and their judgment is not being getting executed. So these problems still prevail. But by and large, we have to look at the overall benefits versus these challenges. But I'm sure in the coming times, with as the markets get more consolidated and the RERA gets more revamped over a period of time, and then the things will further improve, much to the benefit of the home buyers. So this is regarding the RERA thing. Another important, reform which happened to help the home buyers was the IBC, related to IBC NCLT. So which was in financial year 17. So it has not made much progress, but things are happening positively on this side also. So FY 17 to September 22, if I talk in terms of the real statistics, during that period, only 1.2% of the cases were, there was realization in 1.2% of the cases. So, but then by September 2023, it jumped to 18.18%. The figures are just in front of me. So the jump in CIRP, corporate insolvency resolution process cases, from 2008 in FY22, now it is 313 in FY23. So this itself speaks about the progress, though slow progress. So, but still the progress is happening. So, but there are reasons why this progress is slow, why it is taking so much of time. So one basic reason has been that there has been so many vacancies lying unfulfilled in the NCLTs. But things have now started improving with the appointment of 21 new NCLT members and reaching to the sanction strength of 63. And then, there are further amendments and further revamping of this IBC reform is happening, with the government appointing additional fast track benches so that the redressal time can be brought down. And besides that, what is happening is that the greater use of technology is being brought in, so that a common technology platform is also being created so that the cases can be fast tracked and the relief could be provided to the home buyers. So Ajay ji, this is the basic background right from the pre-regulation days to the regulation, time of RERA and NCLT IBC. So this is what I have, basically sketched the picture, what was happening earlier and what is happening now. So now, if you allow me, we can talk about, how, real estate have gained. if we talk specifically, you wanted me to talk about 2023 also, how the scenario was there in the last year. So if you have any specific thing to ask me with regard to that, you can let me know. Hello. So 2023, if I talk about the achievement of 2023, it was a phenomenal year for the residential real estate. Hello. It was a phenomenal year for the residential real estate, which, had a growth of 31%, which is an all-time growth across, if we talk about top 7 cities, 4.76 lakh housing units were sold during this period. And, basically, it was just a Modi ji's two-pronged double-engine government in some sense. So similarly, in residential real estate also, it was a double-engine driven growth which happened in 2023. When I say double-engine growth, I would say that on one hand, affordable housing was contributing in a big way, though its share got down. On the other hand, there was a phenomenal growth in luxury real estate and premium housing segment. So that happened basically, started happening basically after the corona thing, when there was a greater emphasis on privacy and more space at home, and people started realizing the importance of owning their own home. So that way, that tempo was built, and 2023 saw the decadal high sales in residential real estate. Talking of luxury real estate, it had a contribution of 130% increase in sales. So that was the performance by the residential real estate. So as far as office real estate is concerned, basically there were a lot of global headwinds in 2023, related to multinational companies. They were very cautious in terms of their expansion plans and leasing office space in India. And another reason was, like in India, the interest rates were very high. So it was expected that in 2023, the office real estate may not do well. But then it was really very encouraging that if you look at the statistics, 2023 office real estate showed tremendous amount of resilience, and ultimately, it turned out to be a very good performance, which was a 4-year high at 60.6 million square feet of leasing space. So it was a 72%, it was a 61.6 million square feet, as I said, 4-year high leasing performance. So talking of the retail space, there has been a comeback of mall space. For the last few years, this segment was not doing well, but in the last couple of years, it caught up, and retail space, this is clearly visible from the statistics. The retail space leasing shot up to 72% increase in 2023 to nearly 60 lakh square feet of space across 9 malls in top 8 cities. 9 new malls came up last year and all. So this is the story of retail space also. In why this was happening, why this kind of performance the different segments of real estate would give. This was largely because of the increase in confidence of the domestic as well as international, investors, and the stable government, reform oriented government was a major factor in driving this confidence of investors both in India and abroad. And this confidence still, one feels these international investors. If you talk about them, so international investment, there was a 10% YOY growth in 2023 of institutional investments, which was at 5.4 billion USD dollars. Very encouraging. So this is what really was behind the growth of the sector in 2023. So another sunrise sector which came up in 2023 was the alternate real estate sector. When I talk of alternate real estate, there is data center, there is warehousing and industrial leasing, and one can talk about flexible leasing space, which we also mention as co-work. We can talk about co-living space, which includes student housing, and there has been tremendous rise in senior housing also. So all these new segments, sunrise segments, they performed very well during 2023. And the way the things are going on, these sectors will continue to drive in 2024 also, particularly as in 2024 at the international level also, and on India front also, we are expecting to see drop in interest rates. So that should, really drive residential real estate, commercial real estate, as well as these special interest segments, alternate segments, which we call. So this is what has been the scenario, and this is what has been the growth of residential real estate and all. So now one challenge has been there amidst all this growth. That challenge pertains to the flagship reform program of the government, which is Housing for All, or PMAY, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. This program played a significant role in providing housing to crores of people in India, in urban as well as in rural India. So lot of states also, they came up with reforms related to FAR and density norms. They liberalized FAR, they liberalized density norms. As a result of that, affordable housing got a boost in the last few years. The affordable housing came up as a bigger segment, and that is understandable also, because the biggest shortage of housing in the country is in this LIG and middle income housing segment. But what has happened in the last couple of years, particularly last year, is that the share of the affordable housing in overall sales of housing is going down like anything. Now, if we talk in terms of the statistics, in 2023, the share of the affordable housing to the overall housing sale dropped down to 20%. It was 30% in 2022, and in the pre-corona time, 2019, it was at 40%. So now you can imagine from the statistics how the affordable housing has suffered during the last few years. Developers are telling us and make us believe that the demand for affordable housing has gone down because people want bigger places, but that is not the real picture. The demand has gone down because people are not able to afford now. There are a couple of reasons for that. In the last couple of years, the prices of land, the basic raw material for housing and real estate, have gone down tremendously, even 100% increase in prices of the land happening in the last couple of years. So and on top of that, the input costs, I mean the building material prices had also gone up. So all these things, and together with the high interest rates, they all contributed to the unaffordability of the budget housing for the home buyers. So that the net result was that the demand for affordable housing went down. So another worrying factor about affordable housing is the drastic drop in supply of the affordable homes. So it dropped down to 18% in 2023 against 40% in 2019. I mean pre-corona time. So why the developers have stopped supply of affordable housing? They say that we are focusing on luxury housing for two reasons. Number one, the luxury homes get sold very fast. And number two, there is a good margin, profit margin in luxury housing. So, so that is the reason they, are focusing more on the luxury housing, and the affordable housing segment is getting neglected by the developers. So, but then there are a lot of measures at the policy level also required to push affordable housing. The tax breaks which developers used to get for constructing affordable homes are not there, and they should be introduced. So another thing is that for the last many years, the rebate on the interest outgo on home loan has been there at 2 lakh limit, whereas the inflation has gone up tremendously over the last many years, but this limit has not been increased. So another thing is that when now the land prices have got so much inflated, so the earlier demand of the developers that for affordable housing, the government should provide land at cheaper rate to the developers, so that they can provide really cheaper homes to the masses. So that is one area where the government and the policy makers have to look into. And then they have to increase the benefits in terms of revising the definition of affordable housing. The definition of affordable housing says that any home which is up to 45 lakh comes under this affordable housing segment. So this has been the limit for the last many years. Again, I would say because of the inflation, this limit has become unrealistic. Particularly if you talk in terms of big cities like Bombay or other big cities. So this limit is very, very unrealistic. In Bombay, the developers are demanding that this limit should be around 80 lakhs, and in other bigger cities it should be 60 to 65 lakh rupees. So there is of course a case for revising this limit, so that this developers could be encouraged to push the supply of affordable housing. Another big problem which I have seen over the years with real estate, although the growth is happening, but the long term growth, I would say, will happen if, and the sustainable growth will happen if the financing model of the real estate gets revamped and gets changed. Right now, for the last so many years, what is happening is that the real estate developers have been collecting finances from the home buyers. So for the money they get in advance from home buyers, so they are constructing their homes. So, but this is not the perfect model. It is a flawed model. And secondly, they are not getting the kind of money from the banks which they need for housing construction, because the banks are very restrictive in funding to the developers. So, and even if the developers get funding from the banks, so many of the developers who are not top-notch developers with good track record and all, so they are getting funding at the rate of 14% or even more. And so when they approach NBFCs, then this percentage, this interest rate becomes still higher. And if they go to the PE funding, it's even up to 20% or more. So what is happening is that in this process, these smaller developers or mid-level developers, they are not able to really do a business which can survive because of the high interest rates and all. On the contrary, the top builders, particularly big branded builders, so they are getting financing at the rate of say 8% or even less, some of these builders. So where is the level playing field? So there has to be some level playing field in the real estate financing, and we have to look up at the some innovative financing models, so that real estate can realize its full potential for the sustainable long-term growth. And there has been a demand also that some of the small-time developers who have a turnover of say 50 crore, so the real estate should be given a MSME status to facilitate these developers to source funding for their projects. So otherwise also, the developers have been demanding for long that this status should be there for the mainline real estate also, so that the funding from the banks could be liberalized for the developers at some rates which are not very high. So these are some of the issues which have been pending for long, and in every budget the real estate sector has been putting in these demands. Then there's the perennial problem of the absence of single window for the approvals. Approvals are still taking say 1.5 years or so after the builder acquires land. So what happens? He is paying interest on the money, on the land which he has acquired. So naturally all these costs, and then the compliance costs and other things, say these all costs are passed on to the ultimately to the consumer. So the net result is that the end product, which is a house, that gets escalate, the price gets escalated. So these are the some of these issues which really need attention from the policymakers, as well as from the developer fraternity and other stakeholders like banks and all. And these should be looked into so that there is a healthy growth of real estate which is there for the long term. This is what I believe. Ajay ji. Yeah.
So you have covered almost the entire spectrum of the real estate market, right from residential, science sector, which was like very, very eye-opening. This signing new sector. Nobody talks about sunrise sectors. Nobody talks about it, and you talked about the commercial. You talked about the infrastructure. I have passed on two questions. If you are ready to take it up, just give me your cue. We will take it up. Else, we will move forward. I think the studio person would have passed on a two question which I have got here from the audience. So, would you like to take it up, Vinodji, or should I move?
Yeah, Ajay ji, somebody, one of our viewers want that I should talk about Ayodhya real estate also scenario and all. So one aspect, which I forgot to mention during my talk here is about the emergence of tier 2 and tier 3 cities. They are the future growth drivers of real estate. This government has been focusing tremendously on, this infrastructure connectivity, whether it's air connectivity, rail connectivity, metro connectivity, or highway connectivity. The kind of money they have been allocating in the budgets, that is phenomenal. And all that has helped in terms of the growth of these tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We are sitting in Delhi, and if I talk about, say, Meerut, which is in the NCR close by, just look at few years back, it used to take 2 hours or more than 2 hours to shuttle between Meerut and Delhi. So what was the end result? The end result was those who were living in Meerut and their workplace was in Delhi, they were finding it so difficult to travel on a daily basis and all. But with the expressway, new expressway, this travel time has got reduced to around 45 minutes. So now a person who is living in Meerut, in a city like Meerut, where the living cost is low, he can do his job in Delhi and comfortably without any spending too much of time on travel. So this has happened everywhere. And post-corona, this aspect of reverse migration has happened. And one reason for that is also that the hybrid work, the phenomena of hybrid work has happened. This hybrid work, people now want to go back to their cities and they want to work from there. And corporate has also, realized this importance of these cities in terms of the pool talent which is there, a good pool talent which is there. And so now they are also setting up their corporate offices there, satellite offices, I would say, small satellite offices, so that they can directly utilize the talent pool in tier 2, tier 3 cities. That is happening there. And in these cities, the lifestyle has also improved a lot in terms of retail as well as entertainment options which are there. So the lot of investment is coming because of this in these cities for the office sector, for the retail sector, and residential sector also, because uh, of late the phenomena of holiday homes or vacation homes have caught up like anything. The investors are pouring in money in this also. So a lot of developers are building holiday homes and vacation homes, particularly in hill cities, tier 2, tier 3 hill cities. So in that context, Ayodhya is the latest buzz in the real estate world. Already, as you are aware, in Ayodhya for the last 1 or 2 years, so much of land shopping has been done for the simple reason that around 1,400 acres new Ayodhya township is coming up. And the kind of boost it is getting because of the Ram Mandir, which has come up and which will be inaugurated, as we all know, on 22nd January. So because of that, the real estate is going to get, already it has got a tremendous boom, and a whole lot of shopping malls, entertainment centers, and premium homes, and all that is coming up in Ayodhya in the coming times with this boom. And the connectivity, particularly, I would refer to the connectivity, high connectivity to Ayodhya. It is being connected with the main expressways. A lot of main expressways, Ayodhya is being connected. Similarly, air connection, international airport has already come up. So all these things, and rail connectivity is being provided. All this is going to give a big boost to the real estate boom in Ayodhya.
That's great. That's great. This is ours is a pure and pure legal channel, Vinodji, and we keep the politics away. So here I would like to tell my audience that we are not for Modi, anti-Modi. We are on the topic, and if our experts feel that it's the BJP government which has brought RERA and which has brought IBC, and because of that, significant changes and phenomenal results are there. We can't help it. We have to appreciate the efforts of the government. Similarly, the way, as far as the real estate is concerned, the Ayodhya has come up. I'm not focusing on the religious part of Ayodhya, but from the tourism point of view, from the real estate point of view, from the development point of view, and builder like Lodha has come to Ayodhya where they are selling plots at the rate of 8 crore and 10 crores. It is unbelievable. So it's a cue for other cities also and the other governments, state governments also, to focus on their inherent strength and build city like Ayodhya. Like Banaras was completely transformed. Why can't Gaya, a very big religious place for Hindus, is not on the development radar of the government over there, or for that matter, the highest pilgrimage site, that is Patna Sahib, or for that matter, the Jain religious place, very respected and pious, Pavapuri, Nalanda, I don't know. So the state governments have to take a cue from there. And Vinodji, you have raised so many questions, and we are already hitting our 1 hour time, though we plan to have this discussion for half an hour, but we are already touching 1 hour, and I would not like to cross that 1 hour limit, but you have raised very pertinent question, and my audience here are all full of questions. So I want to, before leaving, I want to take a promise online that you have to come for the second episode.
Ajay ji, I would be too happy to be with your viewers once again. If
Because
I
so
can
many
understand
questions.
this is what happens in real estate conferences. Also, when I'm on the other side as a journalist, and the speakers so they don't give time for the questions from the audience because of the shortage of time and all. So then I can realize that. So I'll be too happy next time to make it more interactive. And I'm sorry if this time it was more of a monologue, because I just wanted to share my experiences for this long association with this sector. What I have seen, what I have observed, what have been my experiences, and what good things have happened, and what are the challenges which are still there, which we have to surmount, and what can be done on the policy level and should be done to further growth of the sector, which plays a
But
pivotal role in the GDP growth.
before I wrap it up and I allow you to leave the stage, I would, on my behalf of my audience, I would like to take that secret mantra from you in 2024, where they should invest. If they are interested from two point of view, actual user, the real house user, and the investor, where they should put their money.
Pardon, you want me to react?
Yes, yes. Before, this is the experience we want to take from you.
You you see, Ajay, in 2024, as we all know, a lot depends on the elections. But I have a feeling that the way these reforms have gone, the way the stable government has provided a push to the economy, to the infrastructure and real estate, which are the biggest contributor to the GDP and all. So, so a lot of people and media pundits also, they think that BJP government may return. So if that happens, so this stability of the government, the reform process will continue with more vigor, and this will boost the confidence of the investors. This will boost the confidence of the buyers being the home buyers or other buyers of commercial property also, and this will also boost the confidence of the occupiers of the commercial property and all. So, but since you have asked me from the point of view of investors also, I would say that one worrying factor which is happening now is lot of earlier, till few years back, it was an end user market and a very healthy market. But now a lot of developers have entered into the market. Sorry, developers, lot of these investors have entered into the market. And what is happening is there's a lot of speculative buying happening, which is pushing up the property prices. And because of this, in say 2010 and during that time 2011 and all, a property bubble had happened. So one worries sometimes that this should not happen. But I think the major difference between that time and now is that during that time the market was unregulated, and now the market is regulated. So I think that this bubble may not happen, and there is some sort of balancing act in terms of pricing, and one also feels that prices should not be rising at the pace which the prices rose in 2023, and the market will be healthy for both end users as well as for investors.
That's really great. And I thanks all my live audience from Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube for attending this seminar. Before I wrap it up and say thank you to Vinodji, our special guest of honor today, my dear friends, let me promise you two things. That one, Vinodji will be here again answering your question, a specific question on RERA, on other questions you are raising here, and many other things related to law and his vast experience on the real estate. And I also promise you, as you have a lot of questions on IBC and RERA, so in next other episode, along with Vinodji, I will try to pull in some IP interim resolution professional or resolution professional, what you call them, so that he can give you an insight from the perspective of a resolution process professional, that when he take up a project, I mean, what kind of problems he faces. So the one question which he said, that even after getting a favorable decision from the court, be it RERA or be it NCLT, the ultimate objective of getting that promised house, or the house buyer or the home buyer, is not there. Some of the complaints which I have received and I have experienced too. So we will see that some IBC expert, some RP resolution professionals also speaks of his point of view. We would also try to pull up some member of the NCLT as well as NCALT to give the perspective from the judges side, from the bench side, from the judgment side, that vis-a-vis the law, where and what kind of problems or the logistic problems is keeping the speed of justice slow. So there will be two seminars, one exclusive with Vinodji to explore the further questions which you have raised today. I have taken note of it and I will forward it to Vinodji. And the third one, where we will have someone from NCLT and someone from the IBBI or the resolution professional, and Vinodji will be taking as the subject expert, and the various other questions related to RERA, IBC, law would be taken up by the various domain experts. With this, I once again thank you, our guest, our key speaker, Mr. Vinod Bahal, the first and last word on real estate as far as the academia is concerned, journalism of real estate is concerned. And with this, I thank you all my audience for gracing this platform and being here. Do not forget to subscribe the law channel for Supreme Law, and do press the notification button to get the latest news and judgment from the legal world. The recorded version and the edited version of this episode will be up soon on YouTube. So those who have missed this live episode can still join in and benefit and put their comment to us. Thank you. Thank you very much.